He'll betray no more. It's a redemption tour for Kain. Da da da. Oh, with the help of friends, it's time to make amends for Kain. Da da da. Jump in time, jump in time, jump in time. Go Kain. Hey there, and welcome to the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Friday Night Race. It is Kain's Redemption Tour. My name is Sheep Launcher. I'm here with Deathlike. We have Cubs Rule 21, Bangagong, Judge Joe, and Possum Morpheus on your screen, ready to run a fun Friday night race. And really, Deathlike, the objective is simple. Let Kain do all the things that he screwed up the first time.
If that's what he tells you, I'd like to hear the whole story. I mean, this is lore. It's like a reverse lore based. Hey, let's hear Kain's side of the story. But I don't know. I think I'm a fan of Kain. I just hate he gets the worst run of the deal because weapon options at the top tier level not nowhere near close to Cecil, and I don't think it's fair, but but hey, we start with both of them, so it's gonna happen. I think, but you really need, at least at this early stage, you need Kain to carry the load until you get Paladin Cecil online, and hopefully with the bird that he deserves. But otherwise, it could be a miserable seat. I don't think that's going to happen because I think our runners are going to be looting in all the right places to get Kain online as quickly as possible.
Well, the bros get a sword that neither of them can use from Kainatsu to start with. We are glad to have you with us. We are underway, and it'll be interesting to see the divergence here. And actually, 3 runners head to Baron. Possum Morpheus going immediately to Evelyn Castle.
I think, well, mostly I can see some cashing in on the Mura that no one can use. No one on any constructed team can use based on this flag set. So no, there is no ninja in the seed, and everything that you can't use, you might as well go sell, and I think Possum, being a veteran, going for the preferred wildish spot in Castle Evelyn. Yes, bumped into some trap treasure chests, and again hit a second one of the 3 that are there. So, but we'll probably get some good loot. May not necessarily be a good Kain weapon though.
We are joined by our tracker Scarcerer and our restreamer Dathis. Thank you to them for helping us put on the show. The Baron Inn contained a doctor making an in-call. Cecil having a lunch with Dr. Lugay. There is, of course, a boss behind that. Rosa is somewhere. Rosa is going to be guarded by a key item because she is a restricted character on this flag set. Wherever she is, maybe in the back of the giant? We can only hope. Wherever she is, we have to go get her. Our runners have to do all 5 of these objectives to get the crystal.
Yeah, I see a crystal ring on Possum set. It would be the dream, at least on this flag set, if you get the hook and then you just pick up Rosa at where Edge would normally be, and that would be the dream. But suffice it to say, Kain's gonna get work. I think I saw Rune Axe, so that might be Possum's first choice and only choice until something better shows up. With that, at least with that weapon, you could take on some of these, but maybe not the levels, but definitely come back, because Rune Axe will defeat at least 2 out of the just one of the spots with the Mad Ogre. If it was an Ogre Axe or Poison Axe, then you'd have a chance at 2 out of the 3 trap chests where there's Staleman in one of them, so that's another giant. But that
Judge Joe Deathlike Judge Joe heading into the Antlion Cave, meets the Baron guards there, gets a package. Cubs Rule defending Fabul and running into rude Magus Sisters for this spot in the game. With all this divergence, Deathlike, who do you think has the best route? Which route do you agree with so far?
They didn't go the route I would have preferred, as going to the waterway, just to loot that section, the where you normally pick up Tella, that area, dense but no monsters. You're guaranteed something decent, you have a chance of getting a tier 6 item enhanced by T Wildish being on. So, but Judge Show deciding package just for the Rosa check is going to pay off. Although I'm kind of wondering if this for an early stage, you get the last character you need for the objective. The question is more, would you have benefited from picking her up at a different location? And we'll find out what that answer is. But Judge Joe is at least ahead of the game, at least in terms of getting all the characters ready and situated, and Cubs stumbling onto early alt gauntlet.
Yeah. You were saying you would have preferred to loot out the waterway and some of those places. That's pretty much what Bangagong has done. Loot out the waterway, loot out Damsey Castle. Actually, checking the waterfall boss, finding bonus mode there, the mist in the waterfall. Really annoying boss to find at that spot. But yeah, Judge Joe does check that package. If Rosa is nowhere else, this is a big advantage to have her this early. If she is somewhere else readily available, that advantage can be dissipated. Cubs will encountering the alt gauntlet on Mount Ordeals, and this is a really annoying alt gauntlet for 2 characters.
Well, you have to consider that both those characters aren't really effective, but at least the Cubs doesn't have any weapons to speak of. So for his characters, so he's relying on the I think just the basic kit of Thor Rages, which is we're not worried about Kinazo quite yet, so it's not a concern. I think what's kind of interesting is if you were one for to do the preferred Fate Antline because you don't have exit early on, like you don't have Patella, and Rosa is gated by exit, you have you would not stumble onto this early Rosa. So it will be interesting. There's a based on that some veteran runners would consider just avoid fading Antline this early just for that reason alone. Might just kind of forget about it, at least or maybe do it on the last locationing of the early overworld checks. So depends on what shows up, but yeah, though I think Posomorph is gonna just check to see for the free XP on Mount Hobbs, as it will guarantee the 2 characters gonna be on Mount Hobbs though.
Judge Joe does take care of that. Dark Elf officially becomes the first player on stream with an objective on the board. There are 8 runners overall for this flag set created, I believe, by our very own Jay Brunter. A really fun flag set, and getting some good action. We are seeing a lot of interesting strategies on stream, and it'll be interesting to see that continue.
I think this is one of those kind of flag sets where you do actually want to pay attention. Obviously, it's a themed one, and you would find character-themed flag sets primarily like the Baron Hero's Journey, which I think it's running on Sundays. I think this club season. So I don't. So, but the idea is that you have a fixed character, and this is specifically a fixed character set. We're only have see Kain, DKC, and Rosa only, and when you're a runner running this, you want to kind of plan around contingencies, like what do I. Especially while Sea Hero is not on the table, usually you would see these kind of flexes with a Sea Hero. You want to plan out your contingency plans on what you want to do with your characters. Like, do you want Kain as your anchor? Do you want or how fast? What are my limitations, and how fast do I want to get over them, and which objectives do I want to prioritize? So Mount Ordeals is a high priority for Cubs rule, albeit as it's clear. So it's one of those things where you really do have to think about kind of routing early, just for getting getting your team quickly and effective early on.
Cubs Rule taking on the Lilith Redbones fight up here. I believe this is either the last or second to last fight on Ordeals. Possum going to try and take care of the Magus Sisters, and that Rune Axe packing a punch.
Yep, it's the solution to any mages. Magus Sisters are mages, and so Kain is doing excellent work. Don't care about DKC because once you do Mount Ordeals, that XP all but disappears into the ether. So as long as Kain's getting the experience, it's fine. So and having the perfect weapon as the spell literally one shot Cecil. That tells you how much the difference. I think I forget which runner was doing it, but just reset it out of because that the one shots are not. I mean, it's a 50-50 who you want the one shot to be on, and if it's not on Cecil, you're wasting it. It's gonna be a bad time.
All of the blue robes are on Mount Ordeals as Water Hag is in the back spot after the Gauntlet is in the front spot. Meanwhile, Possum Morpheus did get a rat tail for defending for Boole. Judge Joe heading in that direction as well. The hook in this seed could be anywhere. The seed will force a magma key to be somewhere on the overworld. So really, we don't know when that hook's going to show up.
Yeah, but the thing about that is, magma. While the magma key will show up, the hook can also show up. It doesn't say force magma doesn't mean hook disappears into the moon or someplace underground. It can happen early. In fact, might have to pick up the hook first before getting the magma key. As it is kind of a quirk that that hook can lead into magma key, and the magma key can be dug. As far as where Demas is below, we know where Demas is, so it probably won't be behind hook. This seed, which is kind of fortunate for our runners.
I suppose it could still be behind that rat tail if the hook is at a place like Baron Inn.
You can't get the hook without you can't get the rat tail without the hook. It's one cart before the horse. I think everyone's kind of doing the same thing others are doing. So Troya lady not leaving the exit for Judge Joe. At least it's not. There's a few other spots where space and NPCs blocking can be a thing, but not a problem so far. But Lunar's in the trial room, which is actually kind of dangerous given the situation. Kain won't trigger anything, but it'll be really slow going, and if it's slow enough, we might see them go into breath mode, which is I don't think we want to consume star veils if we even got any to begin with.
Right. The Baron kit was the starting kit, so no starting star veils from that kit, and I don't believe we've seen any in shops so far.
It is guaranteed that they'll be on shops, but we have shop standard, so they should be in shops. And usually in the overworld, so it's could be a while, and you'd have to, and not all the runners will be doing shopping unless they are really looking for star veils. So not concerned, but it's one of those kind of in the back of your mind, kind of want that safety net.
Judge Joe got through Dr. Luge in the first spot, finding the officer soldier in the second spot. Really good spot to find them. There's no EXP from this spot, so no need to even worry about the officer. You just get the soldiers down as quickly as possible. The officer runs away, and you don't lose any experience anyway because there was none to give.
I think we see Judge Joe run buffering, trying to get more turns in for Kain because the hits actually take the spot of Karate Man, and Karate Man actually, while you normally see him kicking, actually has a really strong base attack value, which is why kick seems stronger than it is, but kick is actually a significantly weaker attack. That makes these soldiers actually punch pretty hard, and is actually making life a little bit difficult for Joe. Not too difficult, but difficult enough that it's slowing him down. So, but did enough Dwarf killed soldiers, and the officer will retreat because they don't know what to do.
Cubs Rule did get through those D-Lunars. Meanwhile, Bangagong completes his second objective, and Possum Morpheus is on the front side of Ordeals, taking down all of these various skeletons and spirits and such. And that is a magma key.
Yep, that's so for immediate access. So that means going down to the underground. But I think Joe, at this point, really wants to get a Paladin Cecil before going underground. But hey, we'll see what happens, because you want that Paladin getting the XP. So if you go underground, it's gonna be kind of problematic down the line.
Possum, with the important safety save, doesn't want to go through that gauntlet again in case there's a wyvern on the back attack. We know it's a water hag. Both of his characters in the back row protected well enough that this water hag, not an issue at all. Bangong, meanwhile, knows about that demist and decides now's the time.
Not really concerned about the damage, but the demist at the spot, the Octomammoth spot, is actually really fast. This is what it's so in vanilla. You normally slow the spot down, but in this case, this one of those kind of spots where they are faster than you'd expect. It'd be like a Tower of Babel boss going towards the underground when you're doing the hook route, where the bosses are that much faster. Not a threat. You can see the damage dealt to Cecil is negligible. The fact is that Mist is going to be really fast, and might be beneficial to go slow to widen that attack window, and also indirectly also increase that Mist window as well. So, but still worth doing, because the demist is actually going pretty fast. Consider just watching that fight go.
And Judge Joe going to take on the Mad Ogre chest. Really wants, I think, a good Cecil weapon or a good Kain weapon.
I think Joe was tempting. I think that was a power staff, probably, because you don't usually bonk Kain, and if it's bonking Kain, it's because you have the power staff. The kind of issues to making it work is that you need to get a hit, and the fact that she's in the back row unfortunately reduces her accuracy, which even if she hits, that hit actually has to... Accuracy is a factor. Even if Kain just went, she still needs the hit well enough to get the Berserk proc on. So it's not... Yes, you do need like an empty ATB, but you also need accuracy, and it is a factor, no matter, even if you have an empty ATB. So I think it was a nice attempt, but I don't think it's gonna be it won't be taken advantage of. So, but Kain is safely in the back row, so this fight should be safe enough to finish. It feels a bit spicy though for a moment there.
Yeah, that Kain was in the front row taking front row type damage. Now in the back row should be well enough protected to get through, although it will be a little bit slow. Possum through Ordeals, and Bangong returning to Mist to take after defeating the D-Mist to see what Rydia's mom has for us. She's sunbathing and gives us an arty bow. Rosa will really like that bow. Rosa will be a full-fledged damage-dealing member of this team,
which is excellent, because we still right now Kain's in the anchor spot, so this is not, so probably need someone faster than Kain. It probably would be just as well to just make DKC take a nap early. Like one of these seeds, it's it might make sense to just kind of put down DKC, make him the anchor, because the contributions a DKC can make this early in the seed is very limited, unless he's fighting something like a Mom Bomb or Octomem, which his weapon actually does something worth against. It just could, at this point, it almost, some runners don't care whether DKC is around, but sometimes it can be worth just putting him on the ground, let Kain do all the work, and let the angler situation not be a concern.
Tier 2's for sale in Aggart, as Judge Joe reminding us, and Joe will be the first runner on stream underground a little after 19 minutes.
I mean, this is what you get when you force a magma seed. You get your underground access is early, which also means good shopping options as trying to, because I think Gunyers as a tier 5 item will be on sale, will be pricey, but that Massive Moon start should be enough to fund it with whatever other loot that was picked up earlier in the seed.
Awesome takes care of the Mad Ogres with a lot less fuss than Judge Joe did. And I missed this. The Mad Ogres did yield a Crystal Sword.
Let's just see the power of T Wildish. You just will the Crystal Swords into a seed. That's just how it works, right? T Wildish, Castle Upland, Burr enabled.
Yes, and once again, Kain will be overshadowed by his bro. It's his redemption tour, but Cecil's going to be the one doing most of the work.
There is a point, probably by the time Possum picks up the package, probably do the package, just to find out, and well, maybe just peek at least to see the character. Although it's kind of one of those low unlikely plays to be made, because not everyone enjoys the package, because you also have to do the boss before getting the character, and it's not the boss is not a big deal, but the whole sequence is time consuming, so for some runners it may not be worth their time to do that. So for Possum, we'll see what he's going to do. It's just one of those things that you think when you think about in terms of routing. Package is not efficient unless you're doing like just drop off the package at mischeck.
The other thing about the package is we do have a boss hunt. We have to find the comedian Golbez wherever he is. So that package check does contain a boss check as well as the character check. So I think that's what led Judge Joe and Bangagong to kind of go through with that.
Yeah, boss hunt is it's a sight to see, because sometimes the boss you're looking for is in the worst place possible, like say deep within giant second boss. There are other stronger spots, obviously, but Golbez, and say the CPU spot, while having not a lot of HP, can pretty much murder anyone if a Starville isn't available. So it's not exactly the first thing you're looking for, and but yeah, boss checks, especially with Demist. But we know what Demist is, but it's the checks. You, as a runner, you just bump into them, and yes, it's an easy day. But there will be days where, oh no, they couldn't be behind this area. What is he?
Have you ever seen a CPU dance? Because we're seeing that in Dwarf Castle today. Judge Joe making the the CPU twist and shout. This is actually a really annoying place to see the CPU.
It's not so bad. There's a lot of, because this is a punchy spot and has surprisingly a bit of magic, so this is not a bad spot. And you have it'll be slower. It'll be slow because taking out the defender will take a little bit more effort, and DKC not provide for Judge Joe is not going to provide any help whatsoever. He's just right. He's just a passenger on Joe's team right now. So, but
yeah, a little interesting that Joe is making this play with a crystal sword in hand, but with a Dark Knight Cecil.
But if the answer to CP's dancing, they just spin like a record. They spin. They spin and spin because that's how they win.
I guess the spinning is also what the hard drive does, right? Somewhere deep inside there.
Well, as long as it doesn't crash, and then I panic. All that storage. But
yeah, the CPU here has about 8,000 HP worth of storage.
I would like to stomp on it. That's what Kain is for. He is he's the reclaimer. He's gonna reclaim this hard drive by smashing it with his feet.
Yeah, well, this CPU is destined for the boneyard, but it's gonna take a few rounds to get it there. Bangagong will get his Paladin Cecil here momentarily once he gets through D's Lunars. Cubs Rule is on his Evelyn Castle fishing expedition.
If some of runners still had DKC, I think Judge Joe will probably be the beneficiary of it. But does D because you get the crystal sword once you do the fight, you have DKC converted. And you can immediately swap to the crystal sword for that fight, and that is a wonderful blessing. But Bango, I don't think it will be the beneficiary of that. But I think when Judge Joe decides to head to Monar deals, it will be a breeze. It'll still be slow, but it'll be a breeze once Judge Joe gets there.
Possum gets his underground access. Really intrigued to see what Possum's route in the underground is going to be. Will he immediately attack Dwarf Castle just like Judge Joe has, with that crystal sword in hand, knowing you have a character check still for Possum and 2 boss checks?
I think Possum is betting on the numbers. They're just going to bump into Rosa. It's just that right now this is confirming going underground as is, in hoping that the character after is Rosa, and Judge Joe will probably provide us with information. I think Cubs Rule though, but got Kain betrayed by getting the bluster counter after not doing enough damage to the Black Cats. It's a 50-50 chance, and it's a DKC, and but hey.
So Dwarf Castle is required. That is a vanilla Golbez. And that is an objective. So this spot, very low magic. Golbez should not be a problem. If Judge Joe needs any reassurance, Dwarf Castle was selling Star Veils.
See, all the convenience in one spot. That's how you like it. You have the item for the boss right in the shop. Just convenient. I know.
Yeah.
If it could only happen every single time I ran a seed.
I do get suspicious if it happens too often. Like, what do you know that you're not telling me?
It could be Azura. But those things get randomized. You never really know what you're gonna get in shops. There will be items that you'll never get that will not get sold to you. Just on random chances. Like there's a 90% chance or something that you'll get the weapon you need, and there's a 10% you'll not get it. It's that's just it's how the randomizer rolls, and don't worry about it. And at least Lit 3 didn't do much damage because at this spot, there's no spell power at this spot. So Lit 3, while having a spell power of 256, isn't going to one shot any of our characters, but get him close.
Yep. Not a big deal. Golbez at this spot, pretty trivial with the few star veils we have. Cubs did pick up an Excal from the Staleman Skull fight, and will pick up the extra Excal, the Crystal Sword itself, from the Mad Ogres when he gets there.
I mean, if we weren't sure about, easy burr, we got even better burr. I mean, this just in case if you weren't sure you had enough, that's fine. And DKC, that's fine. He can take a nap for the rest of the seed until Judge Joe decides to make a trip to Mount Ordeals.
Well, Golbez asks the ultimate question. We don't have an answer for him. He decides to run away before that. And now all our heroes need to do is stomp on the hand, and our redemption tour will certainly be complete.
Yeah, I think it's also nice. Nice and not nice. While we won't have warp, and it doesn't really matter whether warp glitch is on or not. But you can't take advantage of it because none of our characters are black mages. Only Kain would have a Soma drop. Somehow could cast warp someday.
Yeah, even with the Soma drop, not enough MP to cast warp. So that's certainly the only barrier. And Luca gives the pink tail. So no adamants in this flag set, but Judge Joe does have a couple of tails that Pigtail will give another high tier item. I think a Moon Veil would be one of the nicer items that the Pinktail could yield. But again, we'll just have to wonder until that hook comes around.
I would almost hope for a spear, like the Dragoon Spear, but at this, given the seed, I would almost expect another Crystal Sword to show up, because you need a second Crystal Sword. Somehow.
Well, there's a Gungnir Spear for sale, as well as a Samurai Bow. Judge Joe picks up one of each.
I like saying it's with a Gungnir Spear, but it's 92% 90% effectiveness. Kain is online. It's just 92 attack power. Your best spear is like usually about 99, 105, 109. Those are attack powers of some of his best weapons. And so, if Gungnir, for the most part, you can always get something better, but you're 92% online, and and for Kain, that's more than enough.
So Judge Joe slaps the Cursed Ring on Dark Knight Cecil, really slowing him down. We'll see if he wants to try and take out a Feymarch boss or two using that. Rosa is loaded for bear with Artemis arrows and a Samurai Bow.
Monarch Deals wasn't required. We don't have a key item for Monarch Deals, right? So I think
it was the diamond armor.
So I'm at this point. It feels like Joe is gonna just play out the seed, play out the meme, literally, being here last week, might as well go let Kain be the hero of the seed. Acting, screw Cecil, because everyone can be cursed, even DKC, even a character like DKC, which normally has a very limited equipment set. Cursed Ring still compatible, so it's actually the only universal piece of equipment in the game. So, and DKC can equip it. It's so which, I mean, when you consider how that vanilla, that Cecil is the vanilla anchor, it makes it, you obviously, for those of us who played it before knowing all this information, it's controlling the agility. The anchoring situation is really important, especially in Free Enterprise, where when we get towards the end game, the bosses will be super fast, and you want the anchor to be as slow as possible to be able to control how often the bosses kind of queue in and do whatever they do to you. So this is kind of one of those things that can't be understated, that agility anchor, especially late game, is super important.
Attention must be paid. bank on discovering the job dwarf as a door-to-door salesman.
What is he's selling? I would like to know. Is he selling
Yeah,
betrayal?
probably.
Betrayal.
I'm gonna guess a lava purifier for better tasting lava. Leviathan in the that is a fully vanilla Feymarch.
2 scoops. So a third scoop, but this is a double dose. I love it. Can only imagine how much more vanilla can be in the seed. Not a requirement to be rolled, but it's because the chance of it happening, key items, bosses, it'll happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's a surprise when it doesn't. And if you miss it, hey, I didn't see it. It didn't happen.
And Judge Joe taking on Leviathan first, Possum taking on Ashura first. Both runners did find the spoon in the key item chest. The spoon is just a key item. It serves absolutely no other purpose, and in fact can be sold.
Well, we don't even have the character that can wield it. Even if the flag for it enabled to be on, it's irrelevant. He's not in the seed. But Leviathan, actually, in terms of vanilla, it's only really strong when it comes to the ice 2 part. You're not really concerned about the waves, the big waves, as they do 1/4 of your damage in terms of your max HP. So it will take 4 shots before, or really realistically 5 shots because of rounding to kill someone. But it's so that's not the threat. It's really the ice 2 because but the low levels that Joe has, it's not quite 1-shot kill for some of our characters, but but it's definitely 2 shots easily, and that is and I'm not sure we've seen any Dragoon, or sort of ice resistant equipment on hand, but I definitely don't see it on Kain. So yeah, that makes it a much more difficult proposition. So and Possumorcia finding literally the second crystal sword in the seed. Just saying.
Well, Judge Joe did have to reset out of that. Leviathan gonna try and take on Ashura first instead. Possumorpheus, meanwhile, does not want to tangle with Leviathan right now. Gonna take his second crystal sword and go, and take care of some other loose ends, it looks like, including making a visit to Yang. And Cubs encountering Golbez, so the Lunarian will the Lunarian has a crystal sword, and so this Golbez will not be lasting long.
Yeah, Golbez weak to fire and holy. It's interesting. Both elementals. Usually you have access to, like vanilla, you'd have the legend sword, and usually completed slot, so you'd have the fire sword, which both the weapons are essentially equally as effective. Although I think the fire sword is just outright stronger because the greater attack power. But either way, exposing those weaknesses and that 1 shot by Cubs. That was easy, painless.
Possumorpheus heading back to Fabul in order to check up on Sheila.
I think hoping for the darkness crystal or something, because right now getting moon access is the kind of the priority, and no, definitely not it. It could be behind Pan, or there's Keyless Tower, which is on the table. We don't have the Luca key, so Keyless Tower is probably mandatory.
Unless you want to take on that Leviathan, because Sheila is just a bomb. Like, that's a heck of a housewarming present, isn't it?
you just use it on Yang. Just throw it up, and it'll wake up Yang. That's how it works. The smell of the room burning. This is fine. That's how Yang wakes up every single day. The Leviathan fight, just based on the constitution, regardless of the status of our runners, is a really difficult fight in the sense that you don't have any really good way of damaging outside of Cecil Burr, and then you need Cecil on kind of alive to do all of that. So I think, I'm trying to remember if Joe has a crystal sword on hand.
He has 2 of them.
Oh, well, the thing of it is, Kain could probably solo it for the most part. You probably might need a Star Veil just to kind of reflect some of the occasional ice tube, but Cecil will probably have to do all the damage otherwise. But he has a DKC, so his Cecil is not relevant. So I think for Joe, that fight would be kind of strenuous. You just use Kain to jump, avoid most of the spells, and some of it will be reflected via Star Veil. That fight would be really long, and you don't really expect Rosa to do much outside of occasional healing, like with throwing a potion, because you can't use you're gonna reflect your healing spells, so you have to use cure potions to kind of circumvent that. So right now, Joe is kind of will be fighting kind of with one hand instead, like just the Cecil's just gonna be just standing there, probably gonna try to kill himself somehow. It doesn't really matter, and it's gotta be a slow fight for Joe. Let's put it that way.
Morpheus running into a tower top party. Mylon and all of his friends up on the roof. So this fight will be slow, but it won't be especially difficult. The magic power here, not great, just has a bunch of HP. And so it'll take several more swings of the Crystal Sword, but this Mylon will go down.
Yeah, but this spot, this spot isn't really very threatening, but Mylon in like high magic spots can be surprisingly threatening, especially when at lower levels, where you don't have a good magic defense for just lit 1. Lit 1 has only 16 spell power, but when you're carrying like no magic defense equipment like a power shirt, ninja hat, Zeus gauntlets, you have practically no magic defense to speak of, and they're at spots where the spell multiplier is, the magic stat is really high. The damage adds up really quickly, and it can be devastating. I think it just ran a lit 3 seed where, yeah, that Mylon, it hurts. It really, really hurts.
Well, we're about to find out very shortly if Joe or Possum making the better routing decision here. Possum actually skipping the Oh My Body on Mylon. Nicely done. Gets the Luca key. That is a required keyless tower. And with how few checks there are, Possum has to go catch that. And with how much vanilla we've seen in this seed, could be a vanilla darkness crystal back there too.
That would be hilarious. I'm starting to wonder if the calculation of doing a Leviathan is actually much better than doing the sealed cave, because you have to track and the boss spot. I think, especially we know it's a vanilla Leviathan, much less of a threat of whatever random disaster could be at the end of sealed cave. I would almost bet Possum might actually think doing Fey March again instead of doing sealed cave, because I think there'd be something. It's got to be something worse at sealed cave than there is right now at Fey March. But I could be proven wrong right now because he's doing the dive.
Yep, that. There's kind of an adage in Free Enterprise where if you're stuck on a chain, you have to see it through to the end, because it doesn't really do you much good to kind of jump off in the middle. You got to commit to it. And so Possum definitely doing that. Also, it's an objective. And I think Possum is very confident in this party to tangle with whoever is down here, even a vanilla evil wall.
Well, both Cubs and Joe are finding out it's a pan. So that might actually be it, but we don't know. We'll find them. We know that Sheila 1 has garbage, so we'll have to see what the result of the bonk and then Sheila 2 to see if who is right. Is it Fade March or is it Keyless Tower? And I'm excited to see which is the case. As Joe has, having already also defeated Azura, will just loot before leaving, because not sure we need that much more money. Although finding more gear for Kain at this point is still probably relevant, and that would have been nice. That would have been nice for the fight. That Dragoon was, but it's fine. It wasn't that bad. UKC fulfilling the role of what Kain would have been if he was in the seed late.
So Joe immediately going to go after that, and Possum Morpheus gonna give us the show. Even if this is a Zonk, it has to complete it, and it is a vanilla darkness crystal. So absolutely gonna walk this out. Absolutely going to not fear whoever is here. Might it be a vanilla evil wall? Why not?
That would be no. This is even worse. This is worse.
Oh, this is rough. This is rough.
Yeah, you start off the battle losing half of your HP, and then you have to survive all the punches. But I think DKC will. Paladin Cecil will survive it. I think it looks like the math on Possum is to just let Cecil survive, just heal him up, and let him swing. Kain can take a nap if he wanted to. It doesn't really matter. But Cecil's running the show here. Given that you have, when you're comparing Crystal Sword Cecil to whatever Kain has, not a forge weapon, as forge for Kain would be nice, but Supersmith is not on, so it's just gonna be an X-Cal. So yeah, it's just let Cecil do the work. He can cover Kain as well if he really wanted to. Doesn't, and because he's gonna be holding A to win for the most part.
Judge Joe did pick up an Earth Crystal from Bonking Young with the pan, gets the Firebomb, and he gets a Baron Key. A whole bunch of Go Fetch for Judge Joe.
That is a rabbit hole at this point. We do need Zot, so getting the Earth Crystal is a requirement. So from a from a routing perspective, this will be fine, but that just means the Baron check is going to be wasted on him. So Possum, there's a chance that Possum will just fade March for a bit, unless he feels confident after beating up this Ogo, which right now is not the same threat. But the double big wave, he's getting caught a double big wave. There's the reset.
Well, Judge Joe will get to rate that treasury.
Is there any good? Oh well, we found
two Dragon Spears. Sure.
That's for the double dragon.
Buses.
That's for the double dragons, right? For the double dragon chest. Is that how we equip them? Like that we have 2 dragon spears. We're gonna swing both of them, right?
Yeah. Well, Kain, like all the best people, strictly left-handed. Cannot do anything really with his right hand.
Although, you know what's some buggery? You can't put the Avenger on his right hand. I often, like, through swapping shields and weapons, I end up putting the Avenger on Cecil's left hand and Avenger on Kain's right hand, because I can.
And Possum going to try this again. Meanwhile, Judge Joe going to chase after his objective, the Tower of Zot. And he'll be hoping for the Luca key up here. He won't find it.
it's. I mean, this is very like you. I mean, we were seeing our runners for the most part clearing out the underground. You know, just as per usual. Then the real right now massive deviation is that that Possum, you know, actually went and defeated Leviathan and his vanilla spot, and both I think all of our runners have faded that. So this is so well, and so but basically both all our between our runners, they're kind of they're getting completing at least an objective. They're getting the other part of what the other needs. So, and I love that. And that offset.
Remember, Possum did get the Luca key from the top of tower.
Yeah, gotta follow your objectives. So it's wonderful. Kind of as we're trying from removing the message that we get to kind of exploit a bug where we can use the tent or cabin one spot off because reasons. It's not a deal breaker, but it's kind of cool that you can.
Judge Joe finding Mylon Z in the first spot here in the Tower of Zot. With these levels should not be an issue at all. Even though he's still rocking Dark Knight Cecil, he's going to rock Dark Knight Cecil all the way to the end. So Kain can be the hero of his own story.
Joe is anchoring with, I think, an Artemis bow. I'm not sure if it's a Heaven Robe, but with a faster, I assume, at least the Artemis bow Rosa. So, and because this spot is pretty slow, the Mag Sisters are pretty slow. Val, though, the Val spot will be much faster. So, see that change in positions, that is exactly why. Because we knowing that Val is in a faster spot, got to change the anchor into the slower DKC in this party.
Possum well equipped to deal with this big wave. This is one of the quarter ones. Did not get a double big wave, but has topped off at full health. Will continue to top himself off.
Hey, we've Rosa in her vanilla spot in distress. As soon as Possum completes Zot, we'll pick up. Well, at least in completing Zot, we'll pick up Rosa. So that was something that will pay off somewhat. I don't think not having Rosa in his party is affecting him that much. I mean, when you have a crystal sword, not having characters or not having the spells, I mean, because Rosa's going to primarily do healing and the occasional aiming for some damage, won't really be isn't always going to be true. At least for Possum, it wouldn't make too much of a difference. But for Joe, is making a significant difference as is a kind of an equal contributor in between Kain, because kind of Kain's best weapon is about the same as having Artemis Bow, Artemis Arrow, Rosa.
Mm-hmm. And Kain gets off the kamikaze against Antlion. So Judge Joe completing the Tower of Zot in style.
It's not just in style though. It's for the death skip because of the Val spot.
So the kamikaze, when you use that to deal the killing blow against an enemy spot such as this spot or the Barren Throne, where an enemy slowly crumbles, if you use a kamikaze, the enemy just does the quick fade instead. Very heads up play by Judge Joe to save a few seconds there. Does get the Legend Sword for his troubles. He does have the Baron Key. We'll see if he decides to route this in.
I mean, it's a natural thing in terms of routing is to kind of do the thing. You know, you just came out of Zot, so you're at Baron, and you already have the Baron Key, so it's logical. Now we know nothing is here. There is nothing here. That's the problem.
Tower Key might be there, and the Tower Key would lead Judge Joe to the tower. That's probably the best case scenario for Joe. Possum Morpheus is through Ogopogo. Well done for Possum. The Nope Noodle really flexing its muscles at in the Seal Cave. Possum took one reset, but is through on the second time of asking, and has his Darkness Crystal in hand.
Yeah, notice that it was a slow fight, just due in sheer part, just, boss is fast, but also, we just have two characters that will do damage, and healing. I mean, you can spend turns healing, like if you had a Rosa, that's a one turn heal. It's not like, and you don't really want to use Rosa to do extra damage because you want Kain to jump and Cecil to do burr things. But here, when you don't have the Rosa, it's a very clear difference. You don't have Berserk. You don't to even just speed up the fight with the Berserk characters, because they'll take up turns. They'll speed up taking up turns over the boss, and Berserkers taking up turns will clog the queue, will indirectly slow down the boss that way. This includes Zeromus.
Awesome. Summoning the big whale. Judge Joe and Cubs Rule each heading to Baron Castle, tangling with Kain. So while we have the chance, I do want to thank our restreamer Dathis, our tracker Scarcerer. We have not had the chance to thank them because so much has been going on in this seed. But Possum summoning the big whale, maybe taking a wrong turn here. Possum has left behind the Leviathan in the Fey March, which contains the pan, which is required. The pan is used to bonk Yong into giving up the Earth Crystal. So Possum looks like he's going to make that moon play. We'll see how long he decides to spend up there. But maybe just looking for Rosa, maybe doing boss hunts, I don't know. But the longer he stays away from that Leviathan, the more that the other runners kind of get back into this.
Yeah, it's one of those decisions where, I think Possum, I think often says, you want to dip someplace, not just peek it. You don't even want to peek it. You just want to complete it. And I think in making the actual decision to fade Fey March, which people loving to fade March, not this seed. Found the Rosa. You're kind of you're breaking your own code, but you also but indirectly it is actually the objective is here. So it's one of those things that might ruin the opportunity. It's so the more time spent being on the moon is time sunk where Cubs Rule, Judge Joe, and probably maybe not Bangaga, they're doing the unnecessary Baron check. This Baron check is small beans compared to clearing out the whole LST bosses, or even checking when dealing whatever is at Cave Valley, Cave Bahamut.
Judge Joe and Cubs Rule both dispatched Dark Knight Cecil on the throne, and will both walk to the trash can. Rosa was the character in Baron Castle, by the way. This is a twin harp, and we'll see if Cubs Rule and Judge Joe feel like they have to chase. I think Cubs actually wants to take down that Baron basement.
I mean, you still have to at least peek it before you go. I mean, there's no at this point. If you can defeat the Leviathan and the Azura, you're mostly okay. There's still obviously some bosses like a Vanilla Odin, or there's just anything that anything that casts spells will be a bad time for whatever shows up. So it can be devastating, and it's look at here. I've spoken into existence. I'm sorry.
All of the summon bosses are vanilla.
At least up to this point, we still haven't seen what's at Cave Valley, but that's the last one left. But this seed has some jokes, and this is one of it. If the Avenger definitely helps a lot here, but I think that with the sword up in hand, because Cecil is unfortunately anchor. That's speeding up Odin, and that slow is way too late, I think. Because Mike gets again another hit in, but that slow should have been like the first thing to happen, and it's not.
Awesome. Now diving into Cave Bahamut, will be able to show us who is there. See if we can complete the quadfecta. Nope, Doll's in cave value.
That's what you get for asking for more vanilla. You're gonna get disappointed.
Well, this is where Dark Helmet keeps his action figures, I think.
Oh, Joe is doing the Thunderstruck. He's gonna do Thunderstruck. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Gets the jump, and that Odin will miss unless. No, well, there's a reset.
Ooh, tough timing on that jump. Tried to do the Kainderstruck strat. Did not work it out quite to the level, but is gonna give it another shot.
So I think that move, if it was a Cubs or Joe, it was Joe. I think right now Jump doesn't care about what row you're in, so that just alleviates Rosa from needing to cast Blink. Blink is kind of, it's nice to have, but it's more important if you were like if Kain was at a lower level, like couldn't tank the hits, that Blink would help, but. It's more, we don't need the Blink on Rosa. It's really like getting Kain to survive both Odin shots that should miss if he jumps over him, and that is kind of that is the goal for Thunderstruck, is trying to get him over. But Cubs Roll literally just kicked Odin's butt. That was didn't even have Berserk, just learned Berserk, didn't even need Berserk, had Avenger, so that's time saved, and a hook that we don't actually need, because even though we're going to see some tail turn-ins though.
Yeah, continues to get items to go fetch. So we'll see, Cubs has the Twin Harp, Cubs has the hook. Judge Joe jumps over the Odin for the second time, and should be able to do the Thor Rage here. Masterfully done by Judge Joe. Thunderstruck Odin. Odin is down for Joe as well.
That's nice to see. Just seeing some skill on display, because Thunderstruck can be tricky. Timing it takes a little bit of experience to kind of understand what's going on, making sure that's right anchoring situation, and all of that goes with it. So good job for Joe. Although Cubs Rule having the benefit of having Burr on his side, that made it much easier to deal with. So that's, considering what Joe had to work with, because I'm sure he definitely completely failing ordeals is totally not required for a for art, just at least for a key item. You obviously want to see Paladin Cecil, but Joe is going full Kain redemption arc.
Gainder, Gainder. But Cubs turning in the Rat Tail, another fetch that might get Cubs to the tower, and if that does, Cubs would be in the driver's seat here, because Possum is committing to clearing out the LST, it looks like.
Possum is definitely going to dig a really big hole, because the LST, we know Moon is completely haunted this seed, so I'm sure Possum will have a nice chuckle after finding out after the fact. Cubs, though, I think if it's based on routing, you're definitely going to do. We're definitely going to see some key, not keyless tower. So we have the tower. Keyful tower, yes. Yeah, that's a good thing, because that's much more appealing. You have more opportunities to get the required key items for objective, and we know that the keyless tower has our answer. So Harp, though, we might still get Harp if let's say someone like Joe maybe goes for it, just because fans here may want Harp music, but you never know. There's always a chance someone will go Harp, and though from a routing perspective, it's not as appealing. So we'll see what Joe goes. Maybe he'll do the thing the fans want.
By the way, both Cubs and Judge Joe turned in the pink tail and got an entirely useless Bahamut summon out of it. It's money, but you shouldn't really be needing money at this stage.
Yeah, we're an hour into the race, and we don't have the summoner in the seed, so Rydia can take. Well, not the
Maybe
seed.
she'll show up. You think she's gonna show up? Maybe she's in the giant.
This is interesting decision by Joe. I'm wondering if this is to check the shop because we don't care. We really don't care about.
We haven't seen wine yet.
Yeah, that's probably what maybe the only thing we're looking for. We have Leviathan that we can buy, but exit. Once you go through Zod, you don't even need the exits. But that's whatever.
And our tracker Scarcer pointing out Possum knows where wine is. Wine is a moon specialty tonight, but of course Joe and Cubs Rule do not know that.
How do you make moon wine? That is more. That is there's nothing growing on the moon, and then but even if you import wherever the grapes for the wine come from, like how do you make moon wine, especially with low gravity at work?
Very carefully is the answer. And Judge Joe, a runner of the people, going for music, gonna turn in that Twin Heart. Meanwhile, Cubs Rule knows where the real party is. Taking on Mylon and friends. Will have the Luca key before long and will be in go mode.
I think Bangagon is actually isn't Bangagon ahead of that, or did I miss something? I thought oh no, we went to but right now at least go in the right direction.
Yeah.
We'll pick up the required item from this keyless tower check, so that is good. I mean, so at this point, avoiding moon, at least a lot of runners will like to have a haunted moon, and obviously we know as commentators and viewers, we know it's a completely haunted moon. So and Possum is halfway there to realizing that fact.
Finds Wyvern in the ribbon room. I believe this is the second time he's seeing that. The Witchburn is size, which is an issue when you have so many physical fighters. But Judge Joe is going to play us some music. So we hope you enjoy as Cubs Rule descends the tower. Well done by Joe to dispatch that evil wall. Would have liked to see more fists involved in that because that was Tifa's theme from Final Fantasy VII. Just a Gaia drum, and Judge Joe finding this particular chain ends with a thud. Not going to waste that chance. Going to exit out and keep everything. I don't think he saved out of Cape Magnus.
I think we're fine here. All that harp music, it's wonderful. Xenocat, one of our community members, contributes to quite a bit of it. I think Calamity has also contributed, and there's just over 500 pieces of music that can that can play on the harp. So if just like certain randomized things, you probably have not heard the whole list.
How about third crystal sword?
No, I don't want a crystal sword. I think that's enough for 3 Cecils, and we only have 3 characters. It's just not fair.
Cub's actually taking on trapdoors on his way down. So Cubs has seen no finishers because there have been none. So thinking, they want to they want to exit Luca Cave and be ready for Z.
Yeah, this is usually not the first thing you think of for a grind, but since XP is on for regular encounters, this is actually better. Actually, you get more XP from the Manticore fights, although there's a rare chance that there'll be a yellow dragon, which is usually part of the siren egg fights. That the scrambled eggs that you normally see as a grind. Siren's not rarely available, and you might get it in the kit, but you can't steal it. You don't have an edge, and you can't buy it in the seed. So this is a grind which, given the situation, makes a lot of sense because you don't have sirens. You could probably do maybe a D machine grind, but that you don't have a Tella. You don't have weak. So this is actually outside of maybe doing cave value fighting the behemoth fight spots. This is a pretty good option given location, and basically for most of our runners is going to end up at anyways. Well, at least not Possum, but the rest of our runners.
And there are no sirens available in this scene. Bangagong actually in a really good spot, and if you notice, climbed down the rope of shame, picked up the treasure that was there. It was a silk web, which was really, really nice. And actually Cubs did the same thing. So a really nifty pickup there.
I like that over casting slow twice. Or you can actually, if you double reflect, you can double reflect 2 instances of slow, which is about the same as having a silk web, but just kind of nice. But this is an interesting spot Cub decided to open because this is the save spot trapdoor. This is not their actual meaning behind the trapdoor selection here. But Kain is not getting XP, but that's okay. That's a betrayal, but it's kind of to be expected in this kind of a setting, especially with the trapdoors limiting people and the Avenger being in use.
Bangagong taking on Ogopogo now, quite a few levels behind Cubs, but technically right now in the lead. And Bangagong has really done a great job in this race, just kind of hanging in there, and is now finds himself in a really good position.
Yeah, it's I think that was a miss selection from Bangagong. Obviously not one cast exit. There's probably just trying to cast Cure 3 again. Especially with the double, seeing the double big wave is as the biggest threat of them all. The punches are kind of to be expected at this spot because it's a vanilla evil wall usually isn't the most threatening of punchers. It just is stronger than you'd think because it cheats. That's what it is. It cheats. But I would call double big wave a big enough cheat as it is.
Possum doing something very clever as well. Remember how that wyvern starts off with size? Possum entered the fight small. And so when that size all came out, suddenly his 2 fighters were back to normal size and ready to give Wyvern a licking.
Yeah, the thing of it is it works, but I think it just happens that this Rosa evaded the cast, which is not desired, ironically. But Possum doesn't actually have the Dragoon Spear, which would have been found at at the treasure because he hasn't gone there yet. So this wyvern isn't helping, but has the pass. That will obviously help a little bit, cut down some time because Possum's not going to be back. That's a guarantee. There's no reason to be back, and that's fine. But Bangon defeating Evil Wall, and Cubs not too far behind will pick up the crystal, and now the racing. Cubs actually having advantage because of the grind. So yes. Bangon's only behind. If Bangon immediately goes, might have a chance, but I usually don't do. And Cubs, although fighting another boss, inventory boss.
Yeah, Bangagong has the advantage in fleeing the sealed cave. It has to do the entire walk, no source of warp, and exit doesn't work because of Kain shenanigans. But Bangagong has the crystal in hand, is winning the foot race so far. Cubs will have a quicker Z fight, you would think, because of the levels. But Bangagong is going to try and get that cushion built up.
I would call it plot armor for exit not working, but it's more like a plot force, force that mysterious force that prevents you from doing the thing you need to do.
And here comes Joe.
Yeah, not too far behind, but we'll be obviously we'll have a much different time as the difference. I mean, all our runners has a Cecil with Burr, and Joe will be relying on Kain, and definitely have to have Rosa contribute with a few hits here and there. Though, but definitely realizing, oh yeah, I know my objective is here, so again, got to do the grind, and this is in trapdoor grind, not the shabbiest of grinds.
Yeah, it used to be a lot more popular than it is now. Would you agree? The trapdoor grind.
I think if the sealed cave was a required objective, then the grind, if it works out that you have your sealed cave is near to the end of where you need to complete objectives, it's fine. So I think it's more of a, if it's on the way, then it makes more sense. It's kind of a more popular grind if you don't have access to sirens, and it's given that we said multiple times, no sirens, then this grind makes a lot more, is much more appealing.
And Bangagong, feeling the pressure, needing to go get some levels, will summon the giant.
We'll see what horrors are on the not required giant. But this is, I mean, the giant usually is a really quick spot to give XP, and I think I see, like, counting, I see double XP on as I see more than 10 key items on the list. So that is always the thing you want to have when you have when you're ready for your grind. Double XP makes things so much better. It just like the double lunar, a D lunar spot, chunk of XP, but the CPU spot is where the XP is at. And Possum, having, I think, probably faded Cave Bahamut, is now realizing, it's here.
Yeah, the Possum did Cave Bahamut first. That was the dolls. It wasn't anything special. I think it might have been a third crystal sword, maybe. Is realizing, you know what, might be down here in the Fey March. Gonna go check.
Yeah, I think there's a Moon Rosa. So Cubs will find. I think it's Moon Rosa. Cubs is gonna find out. There it is, Moon Rosa. That's fine. But I mean, I think all our runners have picked up Package Rosa. So that's
except for Possum.
Well, yeah, that's, and unfortunately, it does not have the benefit of kind of taking advantage of the what was it, the double XP that you get when you're behind slingshot. Yeah, it doesn't have the advantage of that because you need a full party to take advantage of. So, and yeah, that's but that's fine. You don't really need to get Rosa to Cure 4, which is at level 38. So I think, and his Rosa is most of the way there anyway, so that's fine.
More vanilla. That is the elements at the elements spot. At least it won't be a fully vanilla giant. We've already seen CPU. Cub's gonna take on some trap chests here. Still not at a place where he's entirely comfortable. I don't blame him. That Rosa's a little low, where she would have just about no shot at surviving an unnerved Big Bang.
I think as long as you get to Cure 4, that's usually more than enough. You're really just gambling with Rosa's life. Not pun intended, but it's like so usually when you reach around 2000, you're pretty safe. I mean, there'll still be some bad rolls, and you still get and Rosa will still take naps. But once you get this is third, fourth, but this is from a trap treasure chest, so that's fine because it's not a normal here.
Leave it behind. You don't need it.
Yeah, it's so. But I think Joe, I remember seeing Kain do some damage. I don't think Kain his Kain is back row glitched at all. I know I saw a dwarf axe in at least maybe like Bangagon, who had his Kain for a while be an anchor. That is the only weapon that gets Kain back row glitched, and Judge Show probably I think needs to find the dragon, find the dwarf axe, or remember to put Kain in the front row for the Z fight, as you don't want to lose that damage to being in the back row, as being in the back row without a back row compatible weapon means that you're doing half as much damage due to having half accuracy.
I think Cubs is putting the pedal down now, making tracks all the way to Zeroma. Still no finishers. $120 into this. We have had 8 runners in this. No finishers yet.
Possum's found the Earth Crystal from the pen, so we'll go immediately, directly. Will not pass go. Will not collect $200 because no one wants to find out what Sheila 2 has at this point.
Nope. Don't care.
No, actually, I might be wrong. We're actually gonna find out, even though. Okay, that's. I'm kind of surprised because there's actually no reason, but I guess this is. Well, this is.
Yeah.
This is.
He's gonna find his Baron key.
Yeah, but we don't need the Baron key. But hey, though might need it for the double XP. I think might be one short of the. No, sorry, I'm miscounting. For a moment, I thought was a short of the key item needed to get double XP, but no, is fine. Wanted to find out for curiosity, because hey, I'm sure we'll be telling it. Hey, how about that Leviathan?
And Cub's rule is onto the crystal section of the Lunar Subterrain, on his way to pay Zeromus a little visit. And Zeromus is always going to be down here at the end of the Lunar Subterrain. If you have a pass, you can get to him through there, but we can't really move him. He stays right where he is. But this is a randomizer, so we like to dress him up a little bit. So he does get a different sprite every time, and that leads us to ask a question, and Deathlike, if you'll do the honors.
Of course. Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? Though.
Let's find out.
Yes,
Kain will do it. Kain is able. I have trust in him.
Although there are some shenanigans of doing the Avenger swap too early and then causing bad things to happen. Now, there are actually
does have that Avenger right in the top slot. So getting ready to put on that Avenger. The Avenger glitch allows you to swap that Avenger on. That makes you berserked, but it still thinks you have a Crystal Sword in the hand, so you do full Crystal Sword type power.
But there are other glitches involving the and the Avengers. But hey, Virgil is the boss. I don't.
What?
I don't know from what.
What a guide to have on hand to lead us through this particular portion of the Subterrain. Virgil.
So I think we'll probably. I don't think there was a nerf, but this is probably going to be okay. If barring barely survived. That's all there. And looks like Cubs has decided that Kain is the true anchor of the sea, will not be contributing too meaningful damage. I mean, the Dwarf Axe isn't too shabby, but isn't kind of like an endgame weapon to use. You're using it for anchoring. So as far as Cubs is concerned, Kain, if he does any damage, cool, because he also slows down Z. But if he gets any free hits in, great. But if he dies, he's dead. It's fine.
Yeah, that Dwarf Axe, it is a long-range weapon, but it also does -5 agility, so it slows down Kain and by extension Zeromus. And this is an unnerfed Big Bang. Kain goes down. Rosa's in trouble. Does have that Cure 4 queued up.
This is fine. It's
yep,
fine.
And this is going to be what we call the Cecil and Rosa show. They can do it by themselves because they are the power couple. Sorry, Kain.
It's more like with guest starring Kain. I mean, Kain started at the seed, so I guess he's in the credits. That's all he's getting for this seed. It's fine. Bango, interesting, gets the Plague. That's a free fight, although it needed to work on it because Plague is incredibly fast at this spot. So, yeah, we'll be taking some time, but it'll be easy XP, but still needs to work for it.
Cubs did get Kain back up, interestingly enough. Possum about to finish his tower. Judge Joe has his crystal in hand and is immediately going to Mysidia his own self.
I think it's one of those times to keeping Kain alive is mostly just for insurance. You know, I mean, you don't want. I mean, Rosa has a greater chance of being wiped by Big Bang, so having Kain controllable, although he will die from the nuke, but is kind of just like more of insurance than anything. I think if Rosa had more HP, then the Kain doesn't really need to be at the same kind of insurance that he's using right now. So, but Cecil's doing fine. It's fine.
Yeah, life to Kain. Cubs seems to have this in hand. Cecil doing lots and lots of damage, and in fact is on Rock's phase.
Yeah, just let Cecil swing twice probably, and it should be done. And there, I think that should be it. Oh no,
not quite. There it is.
Third time's the charm. That's what it is.
Yes. GG's to Cubs rule, finishing with an official time of 1:26:28. Cubs rule coming in second overall because we have a first place finisher, Fiery Blizzard, in first place with a time of 1:24:48. GG's to Cubs, GG's to Fiery Blizzard.
Just GG's to our off stream runners. They're competing just as well as, but they're not on display, but they're certainly contributing in the environment here. So, but GG's to Cub as well for, that was, a lot of things kind of working in its favor. And I'm sure we can see some optimizations but it's hard to not route in Baron when you consider when you get the Earth Crystal. So it's not unexpected to do more than you need to in a seed, just because it's convenient and it just happens to be there.
Yep, and so we will await Cubs momentarily, but meanwhile we have a nice little race. Possum completing his last objective. Possum, the only one with a pass. So he's going to try and he's going to get into the Z fight before both Bangagong and Judge Joe. And while he does that, we are joined by our second place overall finisher, our first place on Restream, Cubs Rule 21, GG Cubs.
Thank you. GG's. How is it that every single summon monster was vanilla this seed?
Have you heard of a guy named Dathis? I'm sure that had something to do with it.
No, we've never met.
Is this your card? No.
Technically true. We have not met in person yet.
That was quite something.
I am mad about that Ordeals, man. I had a plan going in. Find vampires, get up Ordeals as soon as possible. Could there have been... I don't know if there was a worse way that Ordeals could have gone.
It was certainly slow. Having a Dark Knight against an Alt Gauntlet, there's no quick way around that.
There were bombs in Troya that would have helped, but no, it's almost anything else. I can just vampire my way through. No, it's undead, script fight, more undead. For the love of God.
This is what happens when you go up to Mount Ordeals without holy weapons on you. That's what you get for doing that. But
look, last week he hit me with the back attack Val into the Hug Wyvern. So I don't know what he has against me in Ordeals, but I'm not happy.
Well, that was quite an interesting spacing of key items, just in general, including a super long chain at the end. What were you thinking when all of those key items were just chaining into each other with no end in sight?
Praying that Rosa was somewhere so I didn't have to go back to package. No, it was okay. I'm fading Keyless Tower. Okay, I'm fading. Okay, I'm fading Harp. Let's run to Tower. It was Keyless Tower. Dang it!
It's always Tower. Keyless Tower. Yeah. It's deceptively good place to be, and then until it isn't. But how many seeds have you met? Have you just realized I could fade Tower? No.
Yeah. No. I did a double take when I walked into that Fey March, and I couldn't believe it. Also, can we talk about Cecil and that Runax against Asura? I don't know what was going on there, but a Runax did like 1,200 damage to Asura. What happened there?
Probably not back row glitch is the likely scenario. That's the only thing I can think of. But there's a lot of damage.
Center.
Not in center is part of it, but I'm shocked it was that bad.
I didn't remember the stats, but it's got to be not back row glitched or the high variance. It's got Runex is 60% accurate. You gotta expect that high variance. It's like the assassin dagger. That damage it can be really high or really low when it feels like it.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. That Ordeals, it felt like it set me back so far that I don't know how I made up anything else, but that was certainly seen. I see at least one person that had a pass. Where was said pass?
Said pass was on the moon, behind Wyvern in the Ribbon Room.
Okay. I was wondering if it was going to be behind the tower key I skipped, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, fun note, the pass room also had the sand rupee, so that was where your last key item was.
It sure did.
I never found adamant, but yeah.
So, last question from me. You did spend a lot of time during that Z fight life-doing Kain, making sure he was around. Has this flag set sufficiently redeemed Kain for you?
No. Because he straight up threw that Z fight off the rails. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Could have gone power couple strats, but you wanted Kain involved.
It should have been like a RA4Z versus RA3 Cecil and Rosa, and everything just went downhill quickly.
Did you Did you get to check agility before the fight? I don't think I caught it.
It was dead on 28 after those after the Red Dragons and the Dwarf X.
Did you get a silk veil in that seat? Because that I think
yes, the silk web was the chest of shame in sealed cave.
I've never note of that.
Yeah, I had to double back for that one. I'm like, wait, that actually was good for once. What? Oh, that was a much faster Zeromus than I anticipated. But we got there eventually, and I suppose that's what matters in the end.
Well, despite all your belly aching, you still had a wonderful race, finishing in second place overall, defeating Zeromus, the first time of asking, which not everybody on stream has done. So GG's once again, Cubs, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, thank you. Till next time. Thank you both for comms. Dathis, we're having words. Scarcer, anytime we keep Possum from the buttons, it's a good day. So GG. Till next time, all. Thank you very much.
GG's again, Cubs.
While we were interviewing Cubs, we did have a third place finisher. Rybon finished in third with a time of 1:29.27, and just coming across in fourth place, Microcord with a time of 1:34.50 GG's. So Possum took a wipe to Zeromus, and Judge Joe did as well. So Possum trying to get back into this, but that was an unfortunate nuke target.
Yeah, I think the issue and for Possum, I think for Rosa being the anchor, I think that's okay. But I think the problem is that his Rosa is way under level because of picking up Rosa that late in the seed. I think Possum picked Rosa up on the moon, which means a lot of XP didn't get to her compared to our other runners in the same way. Even though, yeah, took him at least the LST fights, boss fights. So I think it stands to reason the fight is kind of predicated on the difficulty of Rosa kind of hampering the efforts. Even having Cure 4 is not enough. Sometimes you need better gear or just more of a safety net for Rosa to survive. I think that alone with some bad luck, I think putting Rosa in the middle often, or putting any character in the middle, I think often gets them in the harm's way with the nukes and stuff. And that's having Rosa down more is really it's a really major setback, more than Kain being down.
And so Possum takes another wipe and has forfeited from the race. Possum did have a terrific race, just took a wrong turn onto the moon, but you saw how quickly he cleared that moon. Obviously, very high skill level. GG's to Possum.
GG's to Possum. It's one of those seeds where the path not taken, and Possum took practically a lot of completely different path than the majority of runners in terms of the major decision in the end game. Where it's just we're just not getting Rosa early, and just kind of fading Leviathan. Even though probably would be a slow fight, but could have taken that on. Those, even though it's Kain and Cecil, no Rosa at the time, still very doable, but also a challenging fight when you kind of need healing at a constant, or at least some protection that for the Ice 2s that would be kind of harassing our characters with.
And so Bang a Gong in a really good position now. That Rosa was kind of in the danger zone, now topped off at full health. has a decent chance of surviving a full-powered Big Bang. Got his Cecil and Kain both swinging. Judge Joe, meanwhile, trying to make this a two-person fight. The real power couple, Kain and Rosa. And we have Rox on Bangagong's side. He's just about home free.
A few more swings, and that should be more than enough on Bangagong. And there it goes.
And he's done it. 5th place for Bangagong, an official time of 1:38:20. GG's to Bangagong.
That was a nice bit of holy damage by Joe, and also GG to Bangagong. With a complete party, that's with kind of more realistic kind of like party where you have all your characters online with reasonable levels. Judge Joe, having DKC, is like kind of like having a Tella at this point. I mean, well. Let's be fair. DKC will be easily faster than Tella, but having the same kind of HP growth as Tella is not a place to be.
Yep, but Judge Joe, fully committing to this play, you have to respect it. Really run a good race. Getting some whites out with Rosa, you love to see it.
It would have been interesting if this race, if there was a gentleman's agreement that no one would do mounter deals if the key item objective wasn't there, because that would be a much more interesting race. But no, that would be a different race to be commentating on. This is still a very interesting fight because you'll see the difficulty and the difference that this fight is, and I think right now JoJo's going for reflex strats late, trying to maybe thinking near the point of the refill, trying to get that, but no, that black hole is slowing things down.
Well, we are joined by our 5th place finisher, Bangagong. GG's.
Thank you so much.
So that was quite an interesting seed where you managed to find the really important key items a lot faster than most of the other runners on stream. How did you feel that seed went for you?
I thought it was going real fast. I mean, I did a couple practice ones and kept like last location, all the important stuff, so this was a nice change of pace.
I mean, the seed where you can actually fade Moon, because that was like, but you couldn't fade Martian. That was, that should have been a plus in your seed rolling efforts.
Definitely. In my head, I was just kind of, all right, where's this darkness crystal? I need to get up there and get some work done. And by the time I got it, I was like, all right, I need to get up there and just do one more thing.
Yeah, and you needed some levels late on, so you showed us the giant. Was that with no sirens in the seed? Was that really your big grinding strategy?
It was kind of right at the moment. I got darkness and I checked my levels and I thought, okay, I got a couple options here. I'm gonna try giant because it could be just real quick experience. It was really unfortunate that Rosa died during that plague fight. He went down a little quicker than I thought, because she's really the only one that needed a little more health. And the elements fight took a little longer than I thought.
Yeah,
but
vanilla
totally doable.
Certainly, the vanilla elements kind of slowing down Burr Cecil. The first, maybe not so much. Probably half of them actually, because Mylon Z actually is undead. So, but yeah, basically half effective of the sword, because half of the elements were resistant to your weapons essentially.
That's what I thought. I wasn't 100% sure. I thought I remembered hearing that somewhere, so I didn't throw the white spear back on Kain. I said, okay, I got this Dragoon spear. Probably the next best thing. Let's just go for it.
Actually, that would be, ironically, would be worse, because the the first three, they're resistant to all elements, so it includes wind and most spears have the wind element. So if you don't have a matching element, you know the weaknesses. But since Dragoon Spear doesn't have an element, it only has the wind elemental. Basically, it's 3 out of 4 elements that resist it. So the struggle is real when you don't have a defense sword just in case.
Yeah, I didn't think I had many options there. But I got through it. It was fine. Just took a little longer than I was hoping for something like Dark Imp, something to life glitch, get a ton of experience, maybe just leave right then, but that wasn't the case.
Well, your early game was characterized by a lot of looting. You went to Watery Pass and extensively looted at Damcyan. Was that kind of your strategy to just get as much stuff as possible early on before really tangling with anything?
I usually try and go to at least one spot, like Watery Pass, maybe Eblin, but on these kind of seeds, I know I'm probably going to go clear Eblin later anyways, so might as well just kind of one stop there, and I just can't not loot Damcyan when I'm there. There's a bunch of chests right there in the basement. That's kind of my safety blanket in all seeds. Just go loot Damcyan. It's right there.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I mean, there's sometimes you get something good loot, and just even a J item to speed up something. Is can't safety net. Comfort is obviously better than not being completely uncomfortable with something that, not having the tools can be a deal breaker for some bosses.
Yeah, and I think my plan was just go until you get something for Kain, a defense sword, the white spear that I found, anything like that to just get him going through a couple fights real quick.
All right, Bangagong, any other final thoughts on Kain or on this flag set?
It took me a little while to warm up to this one, but I really liked it. I love the theme. It's hilarious. Kain deserves it. He's a good guy. And I'm looking forward to the next flag set.
We are as well, and we'll certainly be looking forward to seeing you run it. So GG's once again to you, Bangagong, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks so much. Thanks everyone on the Restream team. Thanks everyone for watching.
And while we were talking to Bangagong, Tybalt did finish in 6th place with a time of 1:40.23 and finishing in 7th place with a time of 1:42.51 and having an unredeemed Cecil in his party the whole time. Judge Joe joins us now. GG's.
Thank you. That was fun.
And you kept the focus where it truly belonged on Kain as the redemptive character. Was that your kind of strategy the whole time, was just fate ordeals if at all possible?
Yeah, once I got the Rosa pretty early, I decided I was going to go and give it a shot. And it was doable. Was pretty happy with my routing overall, just a couple slow things here and there, and then Z was not great.
Yeah, that Fey March with a Dark Knight Cecil, not easy, but you managed to make it through and didn't leave the Fey March without discovering that Leviathan was absolutely required.
Yep, that Earth Crystal was definitely needed. Well, Pan, which led to Earth Crystal.
Right. So, tell us about kind of your strategy overall. Like, you knew basically you were down to 2 people. How did that affect what you wanted to do to most bosses?
So the big thing that changes is when you're anchored and you don't have that many people, the enemies start to, sneak back up and get more turns. like when you're anchored and you have 5 people, a Zerker and stuff, you get all the time in the world. But once you drop it down to only 2, I think it takes at least 3 living people to really get that parity you're used to with anchoring. So I had to be aware of that and understand, especially since Bacchus were on the moon, that I was going to be taking some hits, especially early on in a fight before I can get it really kicked off. Once it's going, it's usually all right, but that early stage of a fight, when you're 2-manning a seed with an anchor, it's rough.
Yeah, I think some of the Fey March fights demonstrate, and obviously the Sealed Cave, like just the fights themselves were just you're kind of undergunned, and it was just a slog because your DKC really, outside of being an anchor, couldn't contribute in any other meaningful way. So it was just it's not surprising that some of those fights, especially with the DKC, just not the same that you're used to. I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. The biggest contribution DKC had, I think, was probably just in the Leviathan fight. It took him a little bit to eventually take a hit, but in the meantime, he was able to throw some tier 2s or tier 3s as needed, which allowed Rosa to go and put some supplementary damage out, which was getting some pretty nice rolls thanks to Artemis arrows, which I'm glad I did not wipe to the Mad Ogres and have to go and re-grab those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah, someone has to contribute, and when someone is not going to be as useful, like someone has to pick up the slack, and it had to be Rosa. So obviously it makes sense because all offense can't be from one person, and that person is not going to. Actually, what effectively Kain and Rosa are almost interchangeable offensively, not literally, but almost.
Yeah, the one thing that made, like, Rosa almost at times would have been better damage, but I couldn't go that route in certain cases because I needed Rosa to be casting the blinks, casting the berserks, and that was always, and that's where it is a little sad. Those crystal swords were everywhere this seed.
They were. There was no missing of, like, if you knew Cecil's in the seed, so throw all the burr. That was the seed. But I think it was at least from what we did see, though, I think the best part when you were running was getting Thunderstruck. Favorite trick. Just just when you have a Kain and that situation comes up. That was excellent execution.
First time I messed it up because I was on Battle Speed 3 and and you can't go early at all on the jump input. But after going back to Battle Speed 1, once I got that first jump off, the fight's done. The punch targeting was slightly rough in that it made it a little more difficult to get back to Kain's turn, but got it there in time, got the jump, and then fight's pretty done. You jump when the sword's raised, and the moment you land after that, you immediately get into the item menu for the Thor Rage on Battle Speed 1. And if you do that right, you should be good.
Well, it certainly was masterful. Last question from me. Have these flags redeemed Kain in your eyes?
Kain's always been solid. His numbers might not be the same as Cecil, but, I mean, Cecil can't jump over Odin. Cecil can't jump over Odin.
See,
Kain has his uses. They're just more niche.
Of course, my favorite use of Kain is Val protection. That's all it is. Val protection.
Kain anchor with a pile of mages. Let's go.
Well, GG's, Joe, and thanks for really heroing Kain, even though Kain wasn't the hero, really showcasing everything he could do. GG's once again.
Thanks. I'm gonna enjoy watching, seeing what the other runners did with their lovely, lovely Cecil, and hope everyone has a nice day.
GG's against Judge Joe.
All right, and that will do it for our Friday night reverie. That was a ton of fun. Before we go, do you want to thank our restreamer, Dathus, our tracker, Scarcerer, for picking up everything. And thank you, Deathlike. That was certainly a lot of fun.
Oh, it's fun every night. It's a Friday night. Got cooled down after all that rain, and there was a thunderstorm here, so I appreciate the thunderstruck. That was a highlight. So, but I think we're going to send you off to RPG.
Before we go,
yeah,
we have more free enterprise coming up tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. Mom's Spaghetti Club race. This has been a really fun club, and we have another instance of it on stream for you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern on the main channel, Free Enterprise. So join Judge Joe and Vatasia on comms for that. But yeah, as Deathlake was saying, let's head over to RPG Limit Break. They're a good friend of ours. They help us out a lot in getting the word out and in showcasing Free Enterprise. So we're going to head over to RPG Limit Break so we can show them some Free Enterprise love. Until next time, for all of us, so long.
Have a good night, and don't forget to drop by Discord and find out more information of Free Enterprise and all the shenanigans that come around.
Hi, YouTube.